What's up, Trader's Edge? It's Mark Sebastian, your only option, and this is your midweek update. I'm excited to be here with you. We've got a lot to cover. The markets are sitting at 5,000 in the S&P. What's next for the markets? I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about what's going on with the triple Qs. I'm going to talk about earnings and the chips and how to take advantage of it right now. I am going to lay out the big economic events that are heading our way, that are holding the market in peril. And before I do that, though, if you're watching me on YouTube, I'd like you to like and subscribe. And if you have questions, leave them in the comments. I want to answer every question you have. Well, let's dig down and get down to business here, folks. Like I said, we've got plenty to cover, and I don't want to miss any of it. So here we are. The S&P is about as flat as she comes. It's down less than a point. The Dow is flat. The NASDAQ is marginally higher, and the VIX is up. So what is up with that? Well, let's start with the SPX. It has had a really nice rip higher. Basically, since January 17th, it's been almost straight up. We're now buttressing against 5,000. That is going to be a tough one to break. But once we do, don't be surprised how quickly we can really take off. These even numbers, they're a ceiling until they become a floor. And I think that we could absolutely see the S&P take off if we can break that 5,000 number. Now, what's interesting today, and I've been talking about this for some time, RSP, this is the equal weighted S&P 500. It is approaching a new all-time high. It is trying to break out. Now, it has done nothing, and I mean nothing, while the S&P is rallied. If the market's going to keep moving higher, the rest of the index needs to rally with it, which is why maybe you consider it a positive sign that the Russell 2000 is up $3. It's right up against that 21-day moving average. If it breaks that, we're going to make a run at 200. That will happen if the S&P breaks that 5,000 level. Mid caps also having a nice day. We're trading 510 now. They're approaching a new high, so we are starting to see some of the rest of the market participate. The Qs are having themselves a nice day. It's been an interesting day. I'm going to hit on these earnings in a second. The Qs are at an all-time high right now, really on the back of the usual suspects: Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, Nvidia, Apple. Interestingly, and this is kind of what's holding us flat, Apple is down. It's below its 21-day moving average. So it closes here. We are going to visit our friend 183 and the 200-day moving average. I think that's heading our way. And that's kind of what's keeping, I think, markets as flat as they are, is that there are a lot of names that are down, that are the mega caps. That's why, again, the Qs are up, but it's really on the back of chip names. So let's dig into some of these earnings now. ARM Holdings, it's up 50% in a single day. It was up as much as 60% in a single day. Just absolutely knock your socks off earnings. I don't think anybody saw it coming. What's interesting is the implied volatility is exploding with it, which tells me there could be some follow-through action here. Disney. What a day for Disney. Disney finally breaking out. It is at the highest level that we've seen since February of last year. So it's at a 1-year high. They like the deal, this sports streaming deal that Disney's engaged with. I think that is really the big driver. Yes, their earnings were great too, but the sports deal, I think, is a game changer for them. And that seems to be a big driver of why the stock is rallying. Now, a name that is not rallying on earnings, PayPal. Ouch. I don't know where the bottom is in this one. People use Venmo, but they just do not seem to be able to execute. So you've got a mixed bag of earnings. We still have more earnings coming up next week, but we're kind of through the major bulk of it until we get to NVIDIA. We're now only a few days away from VIX futures expiration. VIX, now we're getting close to about a normalized level for the VIX future. It's at 1340. The VIX is 1297, about where it should be given volatility. So we've really just seen VIX futures just kind of sit, and the curve is just kind of slowly sunk with the volatility index. And lastly, let's look at what is stinking up the joint. And, gold had that nice run, but has really done nothing since. Bitcoin, on the other hand, is taking off. FBTC, this is the most active of the ETFs. It's at its highest level since the day after they listed Bitcoin. So we've seen that recovery here. Now we're at a spot where we could see some of these names move. With that, these aren't optional yet, but I just closed up some calls in Riot, and I might actually look to go long again because I think there's more upside here in Riot. Mara, similar story. I think there's some more upside in these names. Riot looks to me like the better call buy. I might be looking at the Riot $13 calls for next Friday. Relatively inexpensive. We get that big pop. Those are going to be a really, really nice trade. And this does look like there could be some potential follow through here for crypto. Now, what's kind of weighing on us? CPI next week. It happens to align with VIX futures expiration. Don't take any VIX options into expiry. I think that will cause you nothing but sadness. But we do have CPI next week, and I think that's what's kind of holding up this market. We've seen the economic reports be the one thing that can kind of trip up this market, even as these chip names, these AI names seem unstoppable. The other piece to keep an eye on, NVIDIA is pretty flat today. It's trading $700. They're going to have a hard time delivering on these earnings. Earnings are not till the 21st, so I'll preview those as we get closer to them next week. Also, speaking of next week, I'm going to be live next Thursday revealing the inexpensive way to invest in expensive stocks for smaller or medium-sized accounts. I can't wait to have you join me. I'm also going to have a special class coming up that will be free for everybody that attends this webinar. So I want you to join me. You can join by clicking the link in this video, or you can call my team, 888-872-3301, if you're having troubles, or email us support@optionpit.com. Again, if you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe. And if you've got questions, leave them in the comments or reply to this email with any question you might have. I'd love to go over it with you. All right, folks, I'm Mark Sebastian. I'll be back tomorrow with my week in review. Have a good one.